All right, you guys, welcome back to Mixtape Talks. I am Jason, your host, and I'm here with a very special guest. What do you want to be known as? The online coach, Raymond? Which one?
The online coach.
The online coach. I'm here with the online coach. This is a special one for me because I'm a fanboy. I'm going to admit it, you guys. I've been following you for a while, since your gym in Temecula, since your YouTubes. And one thing I always loved about you and why I wanted to have you on is because you just drop nothing but knowledge. Like, I feel like you're the non-BS fitness influencer compared to what we see on Instagram today, right? So my thing is I wanted to kind of find out how you matured through the industry over the years. Again, you were big on YouTube. You still are. You had your gym in Temecula, which you don't have anymore. So kind of run me through how you started. Like, how did you get on social media? What was your first experience like?
Man, it started with what? I think it was Facebook, right? I don't know if you remember bodybuilding.com. Of
course.
They had that platform, Body Space.
I do remember.
You gotta be old to know that.
No, I'm old.
So it was like,
I'm old, so yeah, I remember.
It was like MySpace, but for bodybuilders.
Right.
So I started posting on there. I was actually prepping for my first bodybuilding show, NPC. I think it was 2009, 2000, something like that. I was prepping for my first show and I was doing it on my own, no coach, nothing. And I was posting content on there. I didn't even mean to post content. I was just posting like my progress pictures, my like workout clips and what I was eating, stuff like that, and just for my own like record, for my own documentation. And then I started like picking up friends on there, and they started picking my brain, asking me what I was doing, what I was eating, how much cardio I was doing, just asking me a bunch of questions. And me, I'm a big giver. I like to help. You know, I enjoyed helping people however I could when it came to my experience, my knowledge. So I was sharing everything on there, and I just started growing on there. I'm like, this is cool. There was like this thing on there. It was like top 6, right? Like your profile's ranked. And that was like always my goal. I wanted to be the part of that top 6, and I never got it. But
dude, who was top 6 at that time?
Dude, there was this guy, Nick. His name was Nick, and he stayed shredded. He was a smaller guy. He didn't have that much muscle, but he was natural, and he stayed shredded. He's always number 1. I forgot his profile name.
Were you able to monetize back then?
No.
So like you were getting, so it's basically bodybuilding.com was using you guys as just okay.
Yeah,
so they were
to build their platform.
To build their platform. Okay.
But my name on there, I still remember, it was Whey Fed. Like whey fed, like corn fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, whey fed. So I started posting on there, and then Instagram rolled out, and my little brother, Ryan, he was like, hey, you got to start an Instagram. I'm like, what the hell is Instagram? I'm like, I don't want to start another platform. And he's like, you got to do it. It's gonna grow. I'm like, all right. So I went on there, and at that time I started doing online coaching with the Body Space thing, and my job at that time, I was selling insurance, farmers insurance. My dad owned an agency, so I was working with him, and I was at a desk all day. So that's when I started doing the online coaching at my desk, you know, on my dad's hours. And yeah, I started picking up clients. I was doing it for free. People were like, hey,
you were coaching people for free?
Yeah.
On the time that you were working, was that, so what were you using? Were you doing the old school like spreadsheets? And
I think I was doing like Microsoft Word. Like it was super basic. Like I was just sending them, you know, meal plans, and then like a workout split that I was just putting together by hand. And yeah, I started picking up clients. People started hitting me up and like, hey, what do you charge? Because I was posting like I was posting their transformation pics and stuff, and it was just catching on. So people started asking like, what do you charge? And I'm like, in my head, I was like, I don't charge anything. So I had to come up with like a price point, right? So I started doing it, and it started just snowballing, and I started picking up like extra money. Like I'm like, wow, this is good money. And I would just take her shopping all the time. We go to Nike and just like kill it. I'm like, cause it was extra money. Like I still had my day job, and I was making okay money. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, this is extra money in my pocket. Like, I don't know how long this is going to last. I didn't ever intend it to grow.
Right.
And it started growing. So Instagram. So my brother, he was like, hey, start one. I'm like, what's my name going to be? I'm like, what am I doing right now? What is big for me right now? And I didn't even know what to call it. Right. So I was like, what am I doing? Online coaching.
Right.
And then I was like, that's what I'm doing right now. So I put it together, the online coach. I'm like, and that was you can get that kind of profile name because there was nobody on there. It was so new. Like
I was about to say that's such there's no way you'd be able to get
you
that
should
now.
get the anything now. It's gonna be the 69
yeah,
54
yeah.
5
Yeah, yours is clean. That
underscore.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it just shows that I'm one of the OGs doing that. Like I've been doing that since Instagram popped up.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a while. I mean, when you first, before you even started going all the way back to when like you did insurance, did you see yourself like making this career, or did you just literally?
No, man, I didn't at all. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I started competing in NPC because I thought I was going to be like a pro bodybuilder and make some like 6-figure income. And then I started to learn more about the industry from Sonia, from my wife. And I'm like, man, these guys are broke. They're not making any money. It's like what you do with your name, what you do with your content, right? So I'm like, I competed in NPC. I did really well. I always took my class. I did bodybuilding and men's physique. And I was always winning shows. I got a couple overalls and chased my pro card, and then I just started learning the back end of it, politics and all the bullshit that came along with it. And I've never been one to like just kiss ass to get anywhere. Like I wasn't gonna play that game. So I realized that real quick, and then I just stopped competing in the NPC, and I just kept growing my brand, the online coach.
Dude, if classic was a thing when you were competing in bodybuilding, I think you would have.
That's funny because that's what I tell Sonia. I'm like, if I came back, it would be classic.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, even I remember some of the early days, like when I would see pictures of you, like even when you did men's physique, you would be like in shorts and you'd be shredded, like hams hanging, quad separation, and I was like, man, you were too advanced for the industry.
I was already wearing like the freaking Daisy Dukes, the shorts back then.
Right.
Now they brought that back. I'm like, dang, that's a nice class. Like I almost want to try it. I want to try it.
Right. So even going back, and this always fascinated me because you're 100% natural. Right, like you've never used, and so what do you classify as natural? Because I hear some guys like, hey, I've done SARMs, I've done. What else is on there?
I don't even know what the hell SARMs is. All these kids are always like, what do you think of SARMs? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't care enough to like even research about it.
Right.
It just sounds like a shortcut to me with these young kids these days. So I'm like, I don't even know anything about it.
So, I mean, but coming into it, as you started competing, you were seeing these guys being bigger. Did they ever come up to you? Has anyone, you don't have to name names, come up to you and be like, hey, if you did XYZ, took XYZ, you could probably be pro? Did you ever cross your mind? Did you ever?
Yeah, the coach that I was with. So I got picked up by a coach and he kind of sponsored me and was doing my preps and stuff. He wanted me to get on it.
Yeah.
And I was on the fence. Like I almost crossed that line to the dark side. But Sonia, she told me, I learned a lot from her. She was pretty much, she gave me an ultimatum. She was like, if you get on drugs, we can't be together. Because she knew too much about it. So I was like, I really wasn't like leaning towards doing it. I was already like, man, I built this physique naturally. Why am I going to risk my health? I want kids. Like that's one thing that I didn't understand. I'm like, how am I going to have kids with drugs in me? You know, like I wouldn't want to risk any side effects or, you know, with children. And that was big for me. I'm like, I'm not going to put, you know, chemicals or I'm not going to put anything synthetic in my body and just try to have kids. Just, I wouldn't feel right.
For those of you guys that are listening and you're like, who is Sonia and who is this person they're referring to? Off camera, we have Sonia, his wife. Sonia, say hi.
Hello.
And so she's been in the industry. I mean, I'll let you to go ahead and go over some of your accolades in the industry.
I'm the first Miss Bikini Olympia.
Oh, that's a huge flex. Okay.
I competed for 15 years. I was a pro for 10. I started with figure and competed in bikini for 5 years. Yeah.
So magazine covers?
Yeah. Muscle Fitness, Hers, Oxygen. Yeah.
I'll flex for you.
And
I remember.
That's when we first started dating. So when she was just like right there, she just won Miss Bikini Olympia and we just started dating.
And that's cool though, because I mean, she's been obviously she's been at the pinnacle of it. So she's had all those accolades. So she kind of told you this is not the direction I want obviously future baby daddy, husband. I don't want our lives to be drawn around just drugs and fitness. And that's respectable. And I always do, because it's like a diamond in the rough, right? I think like I told you off camera, I've only had one other guy on here that was like 100% natural. And it always blows my mind on how you resisted the temptation to, right? Because all of us that work out, we always push the limits, right? Like, oh, I could deadlift this. Well, what about if my boy is taking XYZ, I could probably deadlift a little bit more. We're always chasing numbers. I know early, because again, we're in our 30s. So I know early in my 20s, I was always chasing my bench press, my squat and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I ate the devil's lettuce and kind of dived into a little bit of that. But I do understand that. And I think it's important for a lot of kids out there that are using or that may be thinking about it to think about the future, kind of what you said about having kids and about side effects. I know people see you and they're like, okay, I have to get on steroids in order to become someone on Instagram because I have to be shredded year round. What would you say to someone like that?
I was just talking to somebody about the industry now. It's super saturated, man. Like you have to be balanced when it comes to your content, your physique, your looks, right? Like you have to have something that sets you apart. Is so saturated. So like I get it why the kids want that shortcut, that magic pill to just get, you build that physique real quick, but like it doesn't come overnight. Even on gear, right? Like you still have to put in the work. You still need to know how to train. Your nutrition has to be on point. You need to know recovery. You still need to do the work, and these kids don't have any work behind them, right? Like after a year they want to get on gear. Like you haven't even been training for 5 years. Like you haven't even got any stronger. There's so much room to play, and they want to just jump on the ship real quick, and then it just sets them up for failure because they don't know how to do anything. So it's not going to lead to a sick physique. Right. It's going to lead to just looking like shit and not being able to get there.
Yeah, a friend I used to have, they used to say he's a bigger, shittier body on gear than he was. He's just bigger, but he didn't really know about nutrition. So
exactly.
He would take everything, and he was huge. But I mean, try taking your shirt off, and it just kind of disappears as far as the work he put in.
I guess it was always a challenge for me. So like I had some buddies in high school. Like I've been lifting since I was 15.
Wow.
Right. So we always like trained in like groups of 2. But we were all like, we had one big group that hung out at school. But there was two of our guys, 2 of our friends in the circle that they got on steroids in high school. Wow. And me and then my other boy, Brian, like we were training together and consistent, and we knew that they were using some stuff. But I made it a challenge where like, I'm gonna hang with these guys. I'm gonna hang with them. I'm gonna do it naturally. And I was already pretty strong in high school, like 15 to like 16, I was already benching a good amount. Like I was already consistent, and lifts were going up. And these guys were just doing that to kind of surpass us. Like it was just, ego.
Right.
Trying to beat everybody. But it was, I made it a challenge to do it naturally and beat them. And I probably didn't, but I was keeping up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it now, if I don't know who those guys are, but probably injury prevention wise, they're probably either elbows hurting, knees hurting, maybe not the same physique. Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing about being natural that, I mean, I do regret it too when I was in my 20s taking it, because I saw results and I was like, well, what about if I do a little bit more? And again, peer pressure kind of kicked in, but I was like you too, where I would go to the conventions and see Jay Cutler and be like, oh God, I want to be like Jay or Ronnie. And then you figure out like, you're never going to. Yeah. I mean, no matter how much.
It took me a long time to figure that out.
Oh, it took me real soon when I met them in person. I was like, that's impossible. Like I saw Ronnie Coleman one time and I was like, that's physically impossible to ever be like that. But there was no other industry at the time. There's no other category. It was bodybuilding and that was it. Yeah. So you're like, I'm going to be a bodybuilder or not. But I mean, nowadays, that's what I love about men's physique, and I kind of want to talk about you competing and stuff like that. Is that it is an outlet for people that aren't maybe trying to be on that much gear to.
Man, but it's constantly changing. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, I'm like, you guys all look the same. Bodybuilder, men's physique, like it all looks the same. It's crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Because I
don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I saw Ebanks in person. That dude is huge. Mm-hmm.
He could put on some posing trunks or or some what are they called? The classic.
No, the low classic.
What are they even called?
They're literally it's probably like a half an inch or an inch cut away from your butt, but they're bodybuilding short. I mean, the ones that I had, the ones that Ariel had they were like in the butt. Yeah. To show off the glutes, because that's how you know you're lean. But I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Maybe like a thinner line somewhere, but it's pretty much bodybuilding. It's all the same. What about if your son wanted to compete? Is it something you'd be supportive of?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would want to show him both sides. Like, all right, look at this physique. This guy's 5'7", 160 pounds shredded. Look at this guy, 5'7", 190 shredded. what do you think the difference is? You think he works harder? They both fucking work hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's drugs. This is what you can do.
Yeah.
Like this is what'll happen. Like, but I want to show him what he can do naturally first, you know, and that's why I'm on social media.
I mean, with the genetics of mom and dad, yeah. I mean, you gotta maximize those genetics right there.
Yeah. So I want to show them what you can do naturally, just like what I'm trying to do for the kids these days on my social media. Like I put it out there that I'm natural. It's not in my bio, but if someone asks me, I'm gonna tell them the truth.
Yeah.
You know, like even if I got on gear now, which I possibly could, I'm getting older. My test levels will naturally dip as I get older, closer to to 50. But I think I still have a good 5-6 years of like pushing my natural tests.
When's the last time you had some blood work done?
Last year I was getting it every year. Actually,
what's your test right now?
it was like 6 something.
Oh, okay,
and that was like on the leaner side, because obviously when you get leaner, and deficit drops. So I was like six something.
Oh, you're still good. Okay, so you say 50?
Yeah.
I think you could write it out, dude. Because I mean, I think when you've been doing it for so long, your body's so accustomed, kind of like what we talked about. And I don't think you'll have any issues with it. I think maybe the drop off is going to be just in your ego, knowing like, hey, maybe I shouldn't get under the bar with that much weight. And I think that's one thing, maturity wise, as we get older, as we learn to let go of the ego when we lift. And watching your videos, every single one of your videos is just like dropping knowledge, but it's always about form, right? I never see you emphasize like on how much weight someone should put on. It should always be form. And then watching your form, squatting, deadlifting, or whatever it is you do, I'm always like, man, it's perfect.
I've always taken pride in that. I grew up playing basketball, right? So like basketball was my first love. Like that's why I started lifting. And basketball, there's a lot of technique. You know, you wanted stuff to look pretty, like a crossover, right? Like you want it to look good. And if you had like just a goofy crossover, it's just like it's not cool. You know, no, don't even do it. So I took that into like lifting. You know, if you're not doing it right, it doesn't count. If it's not clean, it doesn't count. That's how I've always looked at it.
So, and kind of going to that, like you were saying, your Instagram and just the way you look at fitness has changed, and you say you want to help a lot of these kids out. What's like some of the advice that you would give like young natural lifters out there?
Oh, give it some time. Give it like at least 3-4 years. I think there should be a prerequisite before you get on gear. And
what would that prerequisite consist
I would
of?
say 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years?
A good run of training, nutrition. You know, doing it efficiently. Like there's so much content out there. You just look for natural bodybuilders, man. Like shout out to Matt Ogus and Chris Jones. Like you follow their shit, you'll be on the fast track. Like I didn't have that. You know, there was a lot of trial and error for the first 10 years of my lifting. Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But now if you jump on YouTube and you follow the right influencers and they claim natural, you can fall into their footsteps and be on the fast track program. You don't have to, have all that trial and error over the years.
Yeah, and there is a big difference. I mean, I know there's a lot of information out there, but one thing I always tell people is if you are enhanced, your workouts are completely different. Your nutrition, to me, can be different. Meaning recovery. Like recovery-wise, when I was on gear compared to off, like I could work out 6 days a week and not be sore. Now it's like a 3 to 4 day split, and it's more total body than it is just like single joint.
We got to get a session because I think I'm at my all-time best of just conditioning physique wise, like just strength and endurance, and a lot of it's coming from just having a good balance of cardio. Because we're in Vegas now, and I've lifted with different guys, and they're on gear and they're open about it, and I'm like, I put them through a workout and they're hurting. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna push you a little harder because I know you could recover a little bit better than me, but the recovery's like mine.
Really?
And yeah, it's just me being like the older, experienced lifter. Like I crush it. Like I go in there, and lately I've been pushing intensity. Like my intensity has died down over the years because I was more of like progressive overload, tracking my lifts, trying to like hit PRs. Right. But I lack that intensity, that last 2-3 reps of getting close to failure, because for a long time there's a lot of influencers were saying failure. Don't no failure, no failure. That's how I fucking built my physique. Is I was hitting failure. I was doing drop sets. I was just like trying not to walk to my car after a leg day. Like that's how I built my physique.
That's
and
so funny.
And all this science and all this bullshit that was getting pushed out there on social media, I just like kind of fell off. And I'm like, man, I stopped training like how I trained when I first started, because there's just too many scientists out there just like telling you got to do this. This is more efficient. This is more optimal. When in reality, it's like that intensity is what builds your physique.
That's very true. I was talking to someone about that. Like I remember my younger days, leg days would be crazy drop sets. You do this and you go walking lunges, then you hold that. And now it's like, okay, 2-minute rest in between. Don't go, leave 2 in the tank.
Yeah.
Rest a little bit, put it on. And I have seen results, but mostly the strength has gone up, but it hasn't been like, man, I was getting some good days. I was getting good results off of those. So
I think the true like indicator of like where you're at is what you can do close to failure under heavy load, keeping your form. And that's my mentality in my sets now. It's like, all right, these last 2, like when I'm like maybe RPE 8, you know, 2 in the left in the tank, that's when the set starts. That's like those last 2, 3, like if I stop here, I'm gonna be average.
yeah.
If I stop here, I'm yeah.
Well, you still have that same dog, huh? Even though you don't compete, you still have that same mentality when you
Oh
work
yeah,
out.
you have to. I gotta keep these kids on their toes, you know. Like even at the gym, we were like next to the guys. I'm like, they're just trying to puff up their chest. I'm like, bro, you're not even going all the way down. You're like half reps. Like, so I'll go in there and show my form. And like, I'm never gonna push any like advice on anybody.
Right.
But like, you just gotta show. You just gotta be an example.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you do push weight, so don't let this man fool you. Go in his videos; he still pushes weight with good form, and that is the true indicator of someone that's doing it. Because I've seen some guys throw up some 150s that were making my shoulder hurt. It looked really suspect. I know you're big on, I know you're big on form. I know you're big on just the overload progression, just in general. I remember though, one of the things that stood out is you're a big believer in macros, right? So like I remember it was, what was it, IF. What
I don't even like that term.
Okay,
IIFYM, if it fits your macros.
If it fits your macros.
Like
But-
I was one of the first ones
Yes.
doing all that
Yes.
stuff with like Ogus and Chris Lovato. Like I learned stuff from them, and they put it on the map, to be honest. Like, and
But
then
you do follow something similar to that though, right?
I still do. I still track macros.
Okay.
I don't necessarily look at food sources too much. You know, y'all eat whatever. Everything's just numbers.
Did you do that when you competed as well? Or were you all like on, I guess, what they call like the bro diet, like the chicken, the broccoli?
The first half I was when I had a coach, but that's why I started doing macros, started tracking macros, because I was always questioning the shit that he had me doing. I'm like, why do I have to eat this? Why do I have to eat that? Like, because remember I told you I prepped my first show. I prepped myself like until 2 weeks out. I got shredded. I got lean. I was already there by myself, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I was eating whatever. I was eating like stuff that was not on the bodybuilder menu, you know, like just different stuff that wasn't on like chicken, tilapia. Like I was eating regular stuff, but I was tracking the calories. So when I picked up a coach and he was telling me to eat this and that, and I'm like, I always question, I'm like, why? Why do I have to eat this? Can I eat this? And like, I would behind his back eat different shit, and I would still hit the same, you know, condition. The end result was still the same, and he never knew. I would even like go to the gas station. So, you know, it's like, man, like I would binge. Like I'm like super depleted because I was on 2 hours of cardio. I was training 7 days a week. Like it was too much. Low sodium, low carb. I'm like, man. So I would get to a point at night. I'm like, dude, I'm depleted. Like my brain, and that's just your hormones, leptin, ghrelin, right? Telling you to go eat because you're gonna die. So I would let in. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gas station and get some ice cream, some freaking Snickers, some cookies.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were gonna say
I'll
like
go
chips.
hard.
Damn. Okay.
Like I'll go hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day I would wake up on point, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was just too much. So the benefit of tracking macros is you're able to eat a lot more than you could if you were just meal plans, right? The whole point is to be able to live life and still like have shit that you like and still get in shape. That's what I wanted to do. So tracking macros just provides more accuracy. So you're tracking everything, right? Like you're tracking your lifts, you're tracking everything. Why not track your macros and dial it in? It's all about being dialed in.
Sonia, was that a hard transition for you in general? Because you were like the top level bikini competitor, and I'm pretty sure you weren't doing macros as whatever your coach told you. And then him getting ready for a show, eating that, were you ever like, bro, you're never going to win like this? Or did you just let him kind of do his own thing?
No, I just let him do his own thing, and then I was like, damn, that works. You know? So,
Yeah. And she's like, hey, pick up another ice cream sandwich for me over
yeah,
here.
no, I mean, he honestly, like, we would go to, I would take him to the gas station. Okay, let's go. He would come in the car with like 2 bags full of just stuff. And I was like,
Crazy.
all right, you're going to eat that?
Hey, my brain was saying I needed it.
My brain, yeah, my
he
brain
would
says I need
eat
a lot of stuff I don't do.
all of it.
Wow.
And wake up the next day just even more shredded.
That is insane. I mean, but it
So-
kind
But
of
my expenditure
Yeah,
was
it's
so
crazy.
high.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
2 hours of cardio and I was like already lean. Like, why?
Yeah.
All you're doing is sacrificing freaking muscle.
Right.
Especially as a natural. I can't do that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, and that's the importance of anyone listening on getting a good coach or understanding what your lifestyle is and what you're trying to achieve, and then finding a coach that kind of correlates with that. What I always love about you is you do show. I think we talked a little bit about it. You show your everything you do, right? So it'll be you in the gym, killing yourself on legs, and then you're out with your boy drinking a flight. You know, so yeah, you know, but the balance there. So someone that comes to you, do you think you could train someone or coach someone that's like, I want to get ready for an NPC show, like, well, I want to compete? You think you have the, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. I still have clients. I do it. I don't.
do you really?
I
Okay.
have. My most of my client base is regular guys. You know,
Right.
just wanting to get next level. They just want a 6-pack. It's super simple. You know, they don't want to compete. They just want. they just want to get the dad bod gone.
Yeah.
Like they just want to look, you know, a little leaner, look better naked, like, and they're happy.
Yeah.
That's the client that I want.
Yeah.
You know, I don't market, I don't ask for contest prep, but I do get people that hit me up, and I take them on.
And even if they're on gear, you're
Yeah, I've taken them on. It just means they get to eat more. It's more
true,
fun. That's the only difference. And then I can drive them to the ground with training volume. Like they
Yes.
can recover. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you just get to eat more. That's
Nice.
it.
Okay, so basically anybody,
Yeah.
moms, dads, competitive bodybuilders, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, the macros would be good for you because I know you like to eat with your girl a lot. So I know macros would be a good thing for him. See, I tried that, right? And I just think it's self-discipline. And I'd be like, okay, if I eat this In-N-Out burger, this thing is 600 whatever calories, so many carbs, but you can't have fries or whatever. And then I'd be like, let me order a little bit of fries. And then next thing I know, I'm already over.
Yeah.
So what typically works for me, and this has worked for me forever, is the bro science. And so like, I'm very like, if you want it, do it. But what always ends up happening is whatever goal I reach, I don't have that mechanism to balance it out. Like, I'm gonna have this. It's just literally flip the switch and I turn into you going to the gas station, getting everything in sight.
Oh no, I get it, man.
No, so I think that's where it comes down to. And as I get older, I'm better with it now. But before younger, to be like, okay, I'm going to Vegas, so I need chicken, rice, and broccoli for like every single day. Then you get to Vegas and you're like, damn, I put on all that weight that I just lost. So I mean, I think that's the importance of what is it? IF. Oh, this is called macros.
IIFYM. If it fits your
If
macros.
it fits in your macros. I think the importance of that, and because I get people that ask me all the time, like, hey, what do you do on the weekend? And now, you know, I have a family of my own, and we like to eat out, and I try to make the healthier choices. But it is easier for a lot of people now. I'm pretty sure you could attest to this, because you go to restaurants and the calories are on there, everything's on there. So like, even I still train some clients, and if they're like, I'm going to go to this restaurant, I'm like, Cheesecake has a menu literally called the skinny menu. And it's great food. It's not like it's
the same food. It's just all it is
portioned.
skinny.
It's portioned out.
It's just smaller portions.
Yeah.
I'm like, I won't go for that because I'm like, fuck, I'm still hungry.
That's what
why am I gonna pay for this?
Man, I love the skinny menu at Cheesecake. I'm telling you, they got some chicken on there that's to die for. But you've been in the industry for how long? How long have you said? 10, 15, 20?
I would say like 2010. So like 12, 13 years.
How do you think your mentality has changed viewing it, absorbing it, as far as like taking it in from the years? Like, where are you at now that you're you know, your dad, you're married, you live in Vegas, you have your YouTube channel, you're making money off of that. Are you still trying to like network and go to these big competitions? I just saw you at Alphaland, right? So it's like, are you still trying to network with other influencers? Like we talked about Matt Ogus, so you reach out to them. I know you're doing it here.
We talk.
Is it still important to you as it was back then?
It's never been important to me, to be honest. Like I've always stayed in my own lane.
I love that.
Right? I was always a lone wolf, like not looking at other people's content, but comparing. Like I was just putting up my shit, and I didn't care. I didn't care about what anyone else thought about it, and that's I get, and I grew that way, and I started being known by the other YouTubers. Like they were like, okay, this guy's up and coming, and they're just seeing my content, and then we chatted that way. But I never intended to be a YouTuber. I posted my content, and that's it. It's like, if you liked it, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, you did it for fun. You did it for fun. You did it because you actually enjoyed it. It wasn't a job to you.
And then I never gave a shit what anybody thought. I was always in my own lane, posting what I thought was valuable. I was just trying to bring value to the world somehow, you know?
I love that. I mean, that kind of goes with everything, though. I feel like sometimes people chase things and they're chasing it for the income or the fame, and then that fades, right? You lose that motivation. But when you do things just genuinely out of, I don't know, pure passion, or because you do love it, or because you are trying to help someone, then the end result just comes, right? Like you were just posting stuff out there on bodybuilder.com, and next thing you know, now you're making a living off of Instagram. At what point, because there's a lot of people that do hit me up, and I'm pretty sure hit you up, that want to quit their jobs and pursue full-time social media and make money off of it. When did you know it was the time for you to quit doing insurance and be like, I'm going to be a full-time, I guess, call it influencer?
Bro, when I got reported by the IRS, PayPal. So I was taking payments through PayPal, and I get this form in the mail, and it said that I made 60 grand in like 4 months. I'm like, that's double what I make at Farmers. So I'm gone. I'm gonna give it 100%. And that was when me and Sonia, I think we were still dating, and the only reason I had the money to propose for that ring was my coaching. And I made 6 months. I made a good amount of money, and I was never confident that I was gonna maintain that, right, the income. But then every year it just doubled,
Right.
doubled. So I'm like, I took the jump. It probably was a little reckless, to be honest.
No, I mean, that's a lot of, that's a lot of money. And if that's your craft, you jump into it. And so I guess unless you're not making 60K in 6 months, you guys, what would be some other like cues that it'd be okay for them? And you're not giving life advice, just suggestion, because you're in the industry, and I consider you one of like the upper echelon guys that are making money off of it. So there's a difference to me, right? There's a difference to people that are just post on Instagram for likes, shirtless pics. You're giving out information, you're monetizing off of it. You've made a living, obviously. So I'm going to listen to you, right? On what you say about it. So if someone's like, I really, really want to quit my 9-to-5 job and just pursue that, I do have a pretty good following. When do you think is the right time to make that jump? Or is there a right time?
I don't think there's ever a right time, man. It's like you got to just go by instinct, I guess. But I mean, if there was a number, like a blueprint, I would say if that side hustle is paying your cost of living, your bills, right? But like from what I've learned these past 2 years, like finances, like I've been trying to learn stocks and finance. Just my goal right now is just financial freedom.
100%.
Right? Like, well, growing up, I didn't have the financial literacy. I wasn't taught it. No, but most people, most kids aren't. Right? So I've learned a lot the past 2 years, and I would tell somebody like, don't quit your day job. You know, stack that money, invest that shit. You know, and then use that side hustle, keep growing it until your side hustle is paying for your cost of living and some.
No, that's perfect. I like that, because we do have a lot of people that make money, like their sole income is off of social media. So when I pose questions to people, and I'm always like, hey, what questions do you want to ask, the guests I have on, and it's always like, when did they know it was the right time? When did they know why were they so confident to make the jump? And people have asked me, for transitioning from just being a trainer, opening a gym, and we'll talk a little bit about the gym that you had there. I feel like you're kind of right on. Like, I feel like there was no right time. It was just a matter of, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew I'd be successful, and I just kind of jumped into it. So when did you have the gym?
What was it? 2015?
2015?
No, 2012.
What made you want to open a gym first?
I was getting in trouble at the commercial gyms, man. like these commercial gyms that were in Temecula, they just had so many damn rules. No gym bag on the floor. What else is there? No gym bag, no chalk, like just a bunch of bullshit rules.
Were you able to film in commercial gyms?
Barely.
Right?
Like it would depend on the manager. Like there's what kind of turnaround commercial gyms have, right? Yeah. Like I'd be cool with the manager, like, yeah, film.
Gone.
And then he'd be gone like next week. I'm like, man. So I was always in trouble. I was like, damn. And then that was when my YouTube was like really growing. So I prioritized filming. Like I would bring a tripod, like it wasn't normal back then too. So I was just getting in trouble. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna get my own spot. I don't need that much equipment. Like I just need all the basic stuff. I don't need a bunch of machines. So I looked into leasing out a warehouse space, and it wasn't too bad. And then the main thing was just all the equipment, right? Like I wanted brand new stuff. I didn't want used stuff.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I just needed my own space, and I think that's when I really started to grow. I was one of the first ones to have my own gym, man.
First.
And then I had black walls.
Yeah,
Everyone's trolling, talking shit. Why are your walls black? I'm like, because it's different.
No,
now everybody has black walls.
You know what I love was the pink the outline of your logo.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, I did pink just so I was different.
Yeah.
Like I asked Sonia, I'm like, I need some colors. Like I need like a theme, right? I'm like, what color should I do? She's like, black and then pink. I'm like, all right.
That literally, yeah. I mean, I never made it out there, but there was a time when we were like, hey, let's drive out to the gym, and let's go check it out. So, I mean, you started it off just to work out. When did it turn into an actual gym where you had like memberships? Was it ever a membership gym, or what kind of gym was it?
Oh yeah. From the start, like I knew I was gonna have memberships, but I wasn't trying to like build it up like a commercial gym. I just wanted enough to kind of like
Cover the
pay for
overhead,
at least a little bit. Like that's what it did. I never profited from that gym. It was just brand equity, right? Like I had thousands of people coming through, and we had this big banner. It was when I was with Ape Athletics, and anybody that came in, they signed it, and there was like thousands of signatures on there. And a lot of people came through in this industry too.
Oh yeah, that gym was popping. There was a lot of people that went through that gym. It turned into kind of like a mostly powerlifter gym in the beginning. I feel like a lot of powerlifters rolled through there from what I saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then
like the hybrid, like that's what I consider myself. Like especially back then, it was like kind of a hybrid. Like I prioritize strength, so powerlifting, like the compound lifts, and then still had my bodybuilding stuff because I had dumbbells. The dumbbells up to like 140s.
Oh, you're probably the originator of that too. A lot of gyms didn't. What they stopped at? I remember like LA Fitness. I think it was 100s, and they got 110s, and I was like, oh, they're coming up. And now most gyms, the mandatory is 150s. You have to have 150s at your gym for you to even be considered a gym.
Yeah.
So how was it running the gym?
I'm not a gym owner.
I mean, technically you are. Like, well,
I was, but I didn't like it. Like I didn't like it wasn't for me. I didn't want the responsibility. I wanted to go to the gym and then just train and have my own spot. But like I learned how much responsibility there was to it. And then just hiring people, man. Hiring good help is hard.
Ooh,
kids, man.
Yo, that's
hard.
preaching the choir.
And then at the gym, there's not much work to do, right? Like it's not like you have sales counselors like 24 Hour Fitness and LA Fitness. Like you're teaching them how to sell. Like there's not much to do. Like they can clean so much. And then especially with how much traffic was going in there. I probably had like 40, 50 members at the most at one time. And the gym stayed pretty clean because everybody came in there and just kind of treated it like home. Like the members we had were very respectful. So there wasn't that much of a mess. So I had, little part-time employees, and like I was paying them to do nothing because there was not much to do after a good hour.
Yeah, because it's not like you're trying to oversaturate that place with memberships and do all that. When did you decide? What made you want to close it down?
What it was the landlord. Like he was trying to sell, so he had like 3 or 4 spaces in there, right? And he had tenants in all of them. I was the biggest space, and he told me we were pretty close. And he was telling me he even offered for me to buy it. And at that time,
buy the actual
buy the building.
Wow,
it probably would have been a smart idea. Because the mortgage it would have been. It would have made sense if I had the financial literacy I have now.
Especially Temecula. I mean,
it would have made sense. But I didn't. And he sold the building, and it was like real quick.
Yeah.
And I think I was month to month at the time. And he was like, all right, you can stay month to month. So I did that for a while. And then the new landlord came, and he wanted everybody out.
Yeah.
He had like some car part company that he needed all the spaces. So everyone had to leave. I think we had like a 60-day notice. It was something like real quick. And at that time I had my CBD store. So I was over there building that up, and I was spread really thin.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, there's not enough time to move all this equipment and find a space. I wasn't going to find a space like that.
No, that was a perfect space.
Temecula. It was warehouse industrial. Oh, no. Retail industrial.
Retail industrial, yeah.
So it was a good spot, like Waba Girls down the street, Walmart, but then it was like warehouse style, kind of like this. Like, and it was, it was a good spot. I wasn't going to find another spot like that. So I was like, I'm not even going to waste that energy. I'm just going to close it down, sell all the equipment.
Damn, you sold it all, huh?
Go back to a commercial gym.
So would you ever consider opening up another gym?
For sure.
In Vegas?
I want my own spot. Just it won't be open to the public. It'll just be, meetups and open gym once in a while, but it'll be my own spot where, good film and our own gym for
I love that. Okay. We're gonna for sure stop by. There's a lot of good and people always tell me, like, man, there's a good gym that opens I feel like every day. But I think the thing that separates it is like, I feel is like the culture you have at that gym, or even like if you just want to open something, you already have the name recognition. People already know your gym from the Temecula one. I say you keep the same vibe. I want the pink logo, the pink online coach. That'd be really cool. In Vegas, it's property renting spaces out there is a little better.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, way better than here.
It's even been a thought though. Like I have longtime supporters like, hey, the campus gym 2.0. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work though, you know. And I'm like, but in Vegas, if we do it right, it will do good.
Oh,
because in Temecula, very small community. It just was like, it wasn't the right spot for that kind of gym. It was very, niche gym, powerlifting, like black walls. Like it wasn't the right place. But I think if we did one in Vegas and just had it bigger, more machines and kind of cater to everybody, powerlifting, bodybuilders, CrossFitters, Olympic lifters, and have enough machines in there. So it's kind of like a commercial gym, but kind of not. I think it would do really well out there.
No, I agree. And I know for myself, being married, I run a lot of my ideas past my wife. Sonia, how do you feel about the Campus 2.0?
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
You think it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Especially in Vegas. Absolutely.
The husband-wife duel running that? Mm-hmm. I know. I think it's a great idea. I think why not? If you have the money to do it, you have the time to do it, that'd be great for you guys to do. Besides, obviously, your sponsorships and stuff like that, what other plans do you have for yourself in the future as far as just related to fitness?
It's just more real estate, man. We want to get some properties.
Nice.
I think that's where it's at now. I think where everything's going, inflation, man. Like if you don't have assets, you're gonna drown.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at, assets, man. Everyone's trying to flex with the shoes and trying to look rich and shit. Like you don't even, what brings happiness is freedom, right?
Financial freedom.
You get that from money.
Yes.
You need money, but you need assets to produce that.
And it depends on where you're at in your life. But I agree with you on the fact that residual income and stuff like that is important. Just because as you get older and you have your kids and you have your family, you don't want to have to clock in, clock out. You want to be able to set your own schedule for the most part, but it's not all, like you just kind of talked about, it's not all roses. There's some hard stuff that comes with running a business or whatever entrepreneurship thing you want to do, but it does take time, but it is something that gives you that freedom to do. So real estate in Nevada, I would assume.
Yeah.
Airbnbs?
Not even, just like, maybe just rental properties. Just, there's a lot of people moving out there. So I think the real estate's really just...
Yeah, there is. There's a lot. So now that you were just out Alpha Land, right? You were the judge for the summer shredding?
Summer shredding, yeah.
Okay, how was that?
It's fun, man. Christian, they're killing it out there. Their shows are probably the best.
How is that gym? I mean, I know we're on the...
Alpha Land?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. He crushed it. And Christian's the only guy that can do that kind of shit. Like,
Yeah.
he's crazy when it comes to that. He's literally never satisfied.
Yeah.
So you go in there, you're like, man,
How big is, like, I know there's 3. So I have a friend that works for Anaka. He's like one of their head guys in designing. And so I always see him post and it'd be like 3 different gyms.
Yeah. It's big, but like, obviously, like on camera, everything looks wider and bigger. It looks big on camera and it's just, it's right there. I mean, it's not as big in real life.
Okay.
But it's big. Like
It's
you
enough.
walk around, it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Was that like the first event you've done in a while where like all the influencers were there?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Like I don't the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, I haven't really traveled and done that kind of stuff. Because like my sponsors don't really require it from me. They know that I'm a different like athlete influencer. Like
Right.
I'm a grown ass man, like family, kids. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be traveling that much.
Yeah.
And I don't really need to. But lately, since moving to Vegas, it sparked like just something in me where I just want to travel more and network and, chill with other people in my industry.
So you got to, what did you judge? The men's physique or or all categories?
All of them.
All right. And
So I had a couple clients that I had to not judge that class.
oh shit. Okay. You had some clients there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I remember you did a post about, like how to pose and stuff. So as a judge, for anyone that's listening, obviously we have a judge here from Summer Shredding because we know a lot of people that actually compete at that. What are some things that you look for when you're judging a physique for yourself?
Like what class? Or you
This
give me
is
an example?
men's physique.
Men's physique?
Yeah.
just obviously conditioning. I think conditioning always wins the show. I mean, if you have two guys next to each other and one guy's, you know, bigger but he's smoother, the conditioning's not there, then I'm always going to give it to the conditioning. It just depends on the judge.
Yeah.
Right. I think, and then symmetry. Right. So if there's a guy, they're pretty even. If the guy has no calves, I'm gonna go with the guy with calves.
Oh, so you do.
I'm very OCD. So,
you do
like
the leg,
my
okay.
and my OCD is like symmetry. Like I look for something wrong.
Right.
And then like, you know, the difference it's symmetry. That's my OCD. It's like I'll look and I can see those kind of details.
Okay, so what about when it comes to the back? What are you looking for? Are you a firm
Glutes,
believer?
man. Like, well, if it's
I'm gonna say glutes.
yeah, you can tell, and then like men's physique, you can still see if they got legs, then you can tell they just fill out the board
jeans,
shorts.
yeah, the board shorts.
So,
But I mean, like they say, backs win the show. Do you same concept?
a lot of guys don't know how to pose their back, right? Like they get narrow. Like
That's what
a
I'm
lot of guys are like this riding a freaking Harley, right? Too much because they're trying to stay wide,
Yeah.
but then they lose the detail. So there's like you have to have your arms out, but to the point where you can still contract your back and show the detail and show the width.
No, yeah, I saw you do a video on that, and I was laughing because I have a coach at one of my gyms in West Covina, and that's all he does is posing. And one of his clients went out there, and because we have a posing room. And that was literally the thing he was going over with them was how to pose that back. And I've done one show, and I could tell you that was harder than I thought. It took a lot of practice. Posing I underestimated it. I'm going to be honest. It was so hard for me to connect. And you would think after working out all these years, I would have it, but just how to hold it. I was shaking in the beginning. It was just hard. It was exhausting for me to do the posing. So you guys out there that are looking to do shows, definitely practice your posing.
Yeah, you got to do that shit in the shower, in line, at the bank, like just practice, man. Because you got to hold it. You don't ever know the show. Like the judges could be like, all right, quarter turn, and they, like just run you again and again and again. And if you don't have that endurance, that practice, then you're gonna be dead.
Bro, I'm gonna go to the bank and see some kid flexing his lats. Hey, chill, bro. Okay, just deposit your check. Let's move it along.
Yeah, bodybuilding. Like when I was doing bodybuilding, I was always spreading the floor. You know how to spread the floor, right?
No.
With your feet, like
No.
to pop your quads.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you're like slight bend in the knees, and then you're spreading the floor. So you're like,
I didn't know the term
quads
for
are
it, yeah.
contracted. I've always said spreading the floor. So I would spread the floor, like at the bank in line, in the shower, like just keeping that contracted all the time.
No, but it does help though. It really does help. That's what he told me. You know what's funny is I got into it with the guy on stage because my coach was like, yeah, don't give up your space. Like, you know, when they tell you to move. And then they try to move us around, and then this one guy got mad and he elbowed me and kind of elbowed back, and it was like a whole thing.
Man,
those are the things they don't talk about backstage. No one talked to me backstage. No one let me use their weights. It was crazy. It was a good time though. It was a good learning experience. My first one I needed to do, especially at my age. I'm like, I've been wanting to do this for so long. I'm just gonna go after it. So I had a good coach, was able to do it. What about yourself? Would you ever consider getting back into any of the competition? I mean, if not just to win it, but for like the networking purposes and getting your name back out there again?
I would just strictly do it for content. You know,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I would just but I know what it takes, man. I don't want to get shredded. Like
You don't want to get shredded?
No, because I know what it takes. You know, you feel like shit. You know, you're gonna sacrifice quality of life for a good while, and I've done it too often. I've seen clients do it and family. You know, it's just
For you, right? Your current. I mean, you say relatively lean. What do you think? How many? 16 weeks?
for me.
Probably less. 12
My
weeks.
approach.
I'll probably say 12
I'm probably
weeks.
doing 12 weeks.
12 weeks for you, yeah.
And that's plenty. That's like me chilling. Like if my birthday came up and we would still do our thing.
Yeah, 12 weeks. I would love to see you back on stage. Hit the. You never done masters, huh?
No.
No, you
I probably
competed with-
wouldn't, man, to be honest.
No?
Because
You
you
just
know,
crush those guys.
yeah, the masters. So
Yeah.
when I competed when I was in my 20s, the older Asian guys always smoked me, and they were natural.
Really? Yeah, no, dude.
And they looked like, you know, they looked like me, the same height, like everything, but they had more muscle than me, and they brought the conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
But that just takes more years on your belt.
Yeah, but you have a lot. I would love to see you now pilled and on stage. We'll talk offline. I would love to see that. make a whole trip, go visit the gym, see you on stage.
It would just be, but I know what it takes, right? Like I would have to hide out for 12 weeks. I couldn't have beer. Like I could still fit it in, but like it would be maybe I would do 8 weeks, so it would be like quick, right? I would dig just because I wanted. I wouldn't want to deprive myself that too much, you know.
So you're like, I'm just gonna do 2 hours on cardio, but I don't even think you have to. You know, now the more that I know about it, that I've done it, and I've talked to other people, seeing your physique, I feel like those are insane when people say they spend 2 hours doing cardio. I'm like, I feel like you're either not ready or you're not giving yourself enough time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's insane too. What do you even do what did you do for 2 hours of cardio? Did you watch movies or?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think YouTube, and then I would do hour in the morning, hour at night.
Ugh.
On the Stairmaster.
God, but I know the bikini was similar, right? 2 hours, I would say.
For some.
Yeah, because bikini, there's a couple of girls that do bikini at our gym, and I'm like, they look very, very sucked up. But that's the look they're going for, I guess, if that's a look. All right, so you've pretty much done it all. You've done the YouTube, you've done everything. What direction do you think social media is gonna play in the fitness world in like another 5 years? Like, how much more do you think it's gonna take over? You think there'll be a drop off of it? Because like you said, it's oversaturated. And then what are you going to do? What are you doing now to kind of just stay relevant in social media?
I guess I got caught up maybe, a little bit ago where I was trying to kind of keep up, and like I was actually doing the opposite of what I told you. Was I was actually paying attention to other people's shit, and I never did before. And I caught myself. I called myself out. I'm like, man, you got to stop doing that. Like you can bring value your way, and that's what you've always done. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to my old ways. I'm going to bring back the vintage, the online coach, and just bring it back to basics. And that's what I've been doing lately. And my page has been growing again. Yeah. It's on the up. Like, it's hard to grow your Instagram following now, even be seen by Instagram, or Instagram push you out, like the algorithm, all that stuff. I've never worried about that stuff. I just kept posting and staying consistent. I think that's the main thing. And, but yeah, I got caught up doing that, and I'm back to the basics. Like I said, it's back on the up. So I think that's what I'm going to keep doing. And I see other people trying to go back to it too. And I think that's the direction it should
go. When you say going back to that, you mean just being like more organic? Like
just more.
A lot of your content now is just what you're doing now. Like, if you guys can't see, he has his own camera set up. He has the mic on.
Just bringing more value.
More value.
Right? Like stuff that you can actually, take and apply. Yeah. Not just, these fancy edits. Like now, like the edits, like the workout edits, they're just so old. I think everyone's gonna it's gonna be played out.
Yeah.
Like you can only do so many fancy edit videos with dramatic music and like with your physique shredded. Right. Like it just gets old. Like if there's no substance behind it, then like I think it's gonna get old.
So just sticking to your guns, sticking to the basics. And again, you're doing some coaching now, right? Actually personal training in person. I've seen.
Yeah, I took on a couple clients.
Okay, you're doing that in Vegas. What area?
I'm doing
for anyone that's listening.
Fit Club. So right now, what is it? Summerlin, North Vegas. I'm at Elevation.
Okay. Oh, Elevation.
Your boys.
Yeah. I mean, we've been trying to connect to get to either out. He was going to go to Miami, or he has a gym in Miami. I was going to go to Miami, but we'll connect. So yeah, Shout out to Elevation Gym. Those gyms are nice.
Yeah. It's sick. I like the vibes in there.
Oh yeah.
Good equipment in there. The lighting is good. It's a cool gym. So I have one client there, and then I have one client at Fit Club.
At Fit Club. Okay. So are you currently taking on new people potentially hit you up, or?
I think
people listening.
I put a cap on, like I want 2 clients, like that's it, because it's just it's a lot of work for me. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of time away from home and all the other stuff. But they're really good clients. So
and then online coaching, people you're still accepting people for online coaching.
Oh yeah. So I've been doing that full time for the longest time, and like people don't understand. Like my client load, over the years I've evolved, right, being more efficient, so I can take a bigger load and like still function.
Yeah. Okay. For anybody that's listening, if you guys are in the Vegas area and you're looking for, or not even in the Vegas area, if you're looking for some online assistance, my personal opinion, what I love is kind of what you talk to is that you try to make it a lifestyle, right? And you do have, I guess, a lot of moms and dads and people that don't want dad bods, but I think that's actually the way to go. If you're trying to just be healthy. And I think people overlook the importance of not just looking good, but feeling good, and not having those emotional connections to food where you eat nothing but chicken and rice, and then you become so, I guess, accustomed to that you feel like if you have a piece of cake or a burger that it just your physique will go to shit. And now we know through science and applied science, because you've done it to how many clients do you think you've trained over the years online? God, thousands, right? Like thousands. Yeah. And so what I like about your coaching style is that you're very open to everything, right? And you set macros, you set a meal plan, and you do a workout program, but it's all relative to actually science-based stuff. It's not just eat calorie deficit cardio, because anyone, like I tell people, anyone could get someone in shape, right? Calorie deficit. But what's the quality of life? How are you living your life? What are you doing outside that? A lot of us, people that are listening, maybe have kids, maybe have a wife, maybe want to go out. I mean, I did the whole Tupperware and food thing when I went to a wedding, and it wasn't the best look. So, Marissa's wedding, shout out to Marissa. So if you guys are looking for online training, if you guys are looking for, well, not in-person training because he's capped out, but I'm pretty sure he has a wait list. You can reach out to him. We'll put his Instagram on the handle. But I want to thank both of you guys for driving out from Vegas all the way over here. I know you guys got things to do, but is there anything you want to leave your audience with, the people that love you? Because I'll tell you what, when I put on the Instagram that you're going to be here, everybody wanted to meet you. So, because you're a local guy, so we got to do this again and do like a meet and greet with some of your,
for sure, man,
with some of your people. But what do you want to leave your audience with? Upcoming things that you're doing, or maybe some projects you're working on?
I've been working on actually a liquid chalk.
That's awesome.
Unicorn grip. So that's dropping pretty soon. So we have the Instagram. We haven't even posted any content, but Unicorn Grip Co. Is the Instagram handle. That has a lot of stuff gonna come from that. I'm excited about that. So it's a cool little project. But then other than that, yeah, just if you guys want coaching at the Online Coach, hit me up. I'll show you the ways. You know, you don't have to deprive your whole life. You know, you can live life and still look good.
Cool. And with that, thank you guys as always for tuning in. Until next time, peace.